There we go. There we go. Okay. Uh, yeah, I got it. A lot going on in the world today. Just want to say peace and love to everybody before we get started. I always like to send positive vibrations out in the world because it's needed in these times today. You know, positive vibrations is always needed. Just, I want to, before I get into my main topic, I always like to share a little history with the people of the world. Some things some of us may already know, but I had the pleasure to lecture a lot of these topics on the college campus. I had the pleasure to speak at a lot of different religious houses out here in Arizona, and as I travel, but just as a people, a misnomer black people, I say, you know, they have to get out of fear and being scared. You know, I know a lot of people, political views, they take personal, and then a lot of people be emotional over political views, and it's just like religion as well. You know, we operate on a lot of fear. And for me, you know, in my political views, I don't have a dog in the fight, you know, because I really understand about law and policy. But as a person, as a man, as a melanated man from a community, as a misnomer black per se, I do understand agendas. And so when I talk to a lot of my brothers and sisters, peace, Noble. When I talk to a lot of brothers and sisters, especially going on right now in politics, I ask them, what is the black agenda? And they don't even have a clue. Because every other people, that's a group, they put money behind their movement and they have an agenda. And when they vote for people, no matter if it's Republican or Democrat, they hold people accountable. And so, like I said, I talk about a lot of political things, but a lot of my political things is done on academia, where we don't put our feelings in it. And so I see a lot of my friends and family on social media, especially Facebook, and, you know, they behind certain people. And I just open a dialogue and I say, do we know Democrat and Republican and the history of all that? Do we know agendas? Do we know law and policy? I ask every one of my brothers and sisters that's melanated, what is the law and policy? What is the agenda for the misnomer Democrat? What is the agenda for the Republican? Because like I said, I'm not here to sway anyone to make a choice. I just hope we make the best choice that we make off wisdom and understanding and not fear. When I talk about agendas, like when I talk about the Heritage Foundation, I know about Project 2025, but this was a long time ago. A lot of times they do things for 50, 60 years to make things happen today. I cast my free vote as an American, which I recommend everybody to cast their vote as an American. But when we talk about agenda, what is the agenda? What is the mission? Like, for instance, when Martin Luther King was in the flesh, a lot of stuff that he was behind, when I do lectures, and a lot of elders, they didn't want to be behind the Martin Luther King movement to, how can I say, destroy everything you had just to assimilate with others and say, well, someone else's food is better than yours. Someone else's school is better than yours. And that's what I tell people. Look what happened. I'm from Flint, Michigan. And I tell people, look what happened in the city of Flint, Michigan when the bus program, when they start busing kids out of the neighborhood to other schools. And a lot of them mothers that were single moms or families together may not have had vehicles. and they couldn't even take their kids there. And now you look at all the schools in my old neighborhood in Flint, Michigan. There's no more high schools. Flint Northern is done. Central is done. Middle schools, Longfellow Middle School is done. All these schools are done because we bust our people out of our community and sent them to assimilate. And now our community is just old abandoned buildings. Instead of us building our neighborhood up, they say, oh, we don't like our neighborhood. We're going to move to the so-called suburbs. And our community is in shambles. And we had good teachers. We had good male teachers. We had good late women teachers. And now we don't have that. And so when I ask people, what's the agenda? When I tell a person, when you're voting, it should be an agenda. It should be a policy. What law and policy do you vote on? When a ballot is cast in your face, on that ballot is certain laws and policies, which the average misnomer black person, they don't read. They just vote Republican or Democrat. So I throw it back to my brothers and sisters and I say, well, what law and policy do you agree with? I'll give you an analogy. In Arizona, marijuana was illegal. It wasn't recreational at first. Marijuana was illegal. Then you had to have a marijuana license. Now you can, long as you 18 or 21, whatever the law is, you can go buy marijuana recreational. That's a law and a policy people vote on. That has nothing to do with you being a Republican or a Democrat. That's law and policy. So the first thing I ask brothers and sisters, especially my brothers and sisters that vote Democrat, what is the law and policy that you vote on? Even my people that's Republican, what is the law and policy that you vote on? I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm here to have a discussion. And that's what we don't do in our community. We don't have a discussion. Everything be operated on fear. And they know misnomer black people, the first thing they can get you is operate on fear. Or the world is going to end. Or Y2K. All these things. Jump behind a black agenda and blacks have no rights. You continue to see blacks, misnomer blacks, men and women, get killed by the police. You just saw the young lady, Miss Massey, get killed by the police. And everybody saying this black this black this. But then when you look at agendas and things, y'all don't know certain policies that certain presidents are going to have to give the officers immunity. It's already set like that already. So I always ask my people that call themselves Negro, Black, and Colored, and African American, what is the black agenda? What is the black agenda? You're going to hear so many different things from every so-called black person, which is arbitrary. But it should be a set of goals that everybody agree on to hold whoever you vote in that house accountable. The gays have certain things that they hold the president accountable to. That's why they have so many rights. The animal rights, they have agendas. So when I talk to my misnomer black people, I say, well, what is the law and policy that you want administered for misnomer black people? What's the black agenda? That's my question that I have with my brothers and sisters. And we shouldn't be angry and we shouldn't be arguing like a dog when someone asks us these specific questions. We shouldn't be upset and mad and foaming at the mouth like a dog and want to hurt somebody the same way these religious black folk do. But one thing I do know, and you can go back in history, before Donald Trump was the president, Negroes loved Donald Trump. Every rapper used Donald Trump as a speaking voice. They want to be like Donald Trump. And this and that and the other. A lot of rappers had Donald Trump in their raps, in their videos. They was quoting Donald Trump. And what I'm telling people is, this is for discussion. I'm not Republican or Democrat. I vote on law and policy. Every time I vote on law and policy, the things that mean things to me. My main thing is I vote local and state. When I'm in the city of Flint, I make sure I vote local and state and federal. That's the main thing I do when, as an individual coming from a so-called urban community or the hardest hit fund where a lot of us grew up in. I ask misnomer black people, do you vote local? Do you vote state and federal? Do you vote for your city councilman? Do you vote for your mayor? Do you vote for the judge? Do you vote for the police and all that? Do you vote in your community to make a difference? Do you know what funding is coming in? Do you know who the prosecuting attorney is? Do you know who the mayor is? Do you know who the governor is? all those things that we should vote off top before we even start saying voting for a CEO. And so my question that I ask all misnomer black people, what is the black agenda? What is the set of rules to hold whatever president accountable so when you vote a person in? What is the Democrat agenda? And the first thing I get with black folk is they get mad. If they say, well, Donald Trump this. I know about all that. I'm not for Donald Trump and all that, but I'm having a conversation, and we should be able to have dialogue. We should be able to use our brains instead of being emotional all the time, getting ourselves in trouble, making a political vote on emotions. It's just like misnomer black people. When a person say, get a house, and I say, well, you paying taxes, you don't own nothing. You letting people tell you what you should do instead of sitting down and seeing what's best for you. Not basing your political vote on what your mama said or a scare tactic. And if you are part of a political party, then you should know the agenda. You should know the Democratic agenda. You should know the black agenda. I know about Kamala Harris. I know how when she locked a lot of black people up. But if you commit crimes, then should you go to prison? Yes. Yes, I get all that. But as dialogue, which we don't have, we all emotional. Because every church you go to, every preacher, every misnomer black person, peace, noble Lamarck, the first thing they operate and cast a vote on is emotion. But I ask every brother that's Democrat, what is the Democrat Party? What is your mission? What is the Democrat policy? What is the Democrat agenda? I ask all my brothers and sisters that, and the average can't tell me. I can count on my finger out of the 100,000 Democrats that I'm able to speak at on college campus and in my professional life. The first thing they say is, "Man, I don't know. I'm just Democrat." And then I ask people right now. People on the internet talk about Project 2025, and I say, "Well, what is Project 2025? And then I say, "Well, do you know the Heritage Foundation, and who the Heritage Foundation consists of?" Because there's always small companies that control everything, that's been controlling things forever, and they work on things for 50 years to make it happen. And so when I tell people, when they say, well, oh, this is not in law yet, but who's behind these things? And who do they back? All you have to do is follow the money. And a lot of times we don't follow the money because we're not into politics like that. We're into the emotion, and we're into the scare tactics. And the first thing we do with each other is start arguing and cussing people out. And we say Black Lives Matter, and we'll kill each other. But we have a bigger mission. We have a bigger mission. When I ask people about law and policy, I've been asking people and been sharing this on college campuses forever. And I said, what is the black agenda? What is the Democrat political party? What are the laws and policy? And how do you hold them accountable? That's all I ask my people. And the first thing they do is they start foaming at the mouth like a dog. I say, what is wrong with us? It was illegal for us to study and read when you had the black Christian codes. It was illegal for us to use our mind. They made people think for us with presidents, with this and that. But when it comes down to voting, what agenda do you have? And who do you hold accountable when you put these people in office? How do you hold them accountable? Just like in my city of Flint, I go down to the mayor's office every Wednesday. I can show y'all documents in the mayor's office where they know we Moors. Over 12 mayors have signed a declaration, a proclamation in 2012 and 2011 telling you that you're a Moorish American. It's in every political house in these certain states that tell us we Moors. And the mayors have signed the documents. I have them. And most of my muftis and member of my temple and school have them. So when I ask people about this black agenda, I say blacks don't have an agenda because they don't have the agenda for blacks? Welfare, public housing, government insurance. That's what it's for. So when black people talk about reparations, that's where your reparations go. Welfare, cheap housing, Section 8. These is facts. And we get so emotional with political status. But I say, this is an old game. And as I jump into the book, Outwitting the Devil, when I get in chapter 7, when I talk about seeds of fear, and I tell people that fear is the tool of man-made devils. Self-confident faith in oneself is both the man-made weapon, which defeats the devil, and the man-made tool, which builds a triumphant life. And it is more than that. It is a link to the irresponsible forces of the universe, which stand behind a man or a woman who does not believe in failure and defeat as being anything but temporary expressions. This what I talk to my people. This what I have the pleasure to lecture on college campuses when I say, man, misnomer black people got a long way to go. Especially when I tell people, do you know where you want to hide something from a misnomer black person? You put it in a book. Why? Because the average Negro would not read. I have a full library with over 1 million books and documents historically from people that y'all say is important, speaking just like me. Speaking just like me. And here today, all the information that's available, you have your own brother that look like you, that's an educator, that's anointed and consecrated, that speak at all these places, and we still choose to operate on fear. We still choose to operate on fear. And so when I ask all my brothers and sisters, I hope you vote. I hope you know your power of casting your vote as an American, as a free American citizen per se. But if you're a Democrat or a Republican, but I'm talking to my Democratic brothers and sisters today, because this is the conversation I get to have on college campuses. I ask you again, what is the black agenda? What is the black agenda? That's a valid question. You should be able to say this, bow, bow, bam, this, accountability for this, not just like, well, I know I don't like Trump, which that's fine. I get that. But what is the black agenda? Because I know before Donald Trump was the president, every so-called rapper, all the so-called actors, they love Donald Trump. They did. I got movies and documents of things proving what I'm saying. So I'm not here to arbitrarily explain, because I don't have a dog in a fight. People got mad at me when over 10 years ago when I've been telling them, even before Biden dropped out, I said, Biden's going to drop out this political race. They're like, why you say that, She? I said, because he's sick and he's incompetent. Well, the people say, well, he don't have to make the decisions. He got people under him. I said, okay, isn't that messed up? So that should tell you something right there. That should be a warning sign right there. We operate on fear. Not knowing. We operate because our mama's telling you, well, we always was Democratic. I said, were we? Were we always Democrat? Prove it. They can't. No misnomer black person can prove it because they're operating on feelings. We're not operating on law and policy and on facts and things that we can prove. We operate on emotion. We operate on emotion, and we don't have these serious conversations in our household. I asked a person when they voted, and I said, well, what was the law and policy that you voted for, sir? He said, man, I just voted Democrat. I said, okay, so what is the Democrat agenda? Couldn't tell me. I went to the next person, couldn't tell me. I said, so he was like, well, I know I'm black, and I vote Democrat because we blacks. I said, so what's the agenda for blacks? He was like, man, I don't know. I said, that's messed up. What about the young? What about the youth? What about the young brothers in their 20s and in their children? What are we going to do? We're going to continue to go into a burning house, not knowing politics, not knowing education, because it was illegal for us to have these conversations. That's why they had an overseer, a Protestant, no disrespect, a European overseer to tell you how to vote. And once again today, we got people that just tell you how to vote because you black. And I tell people I'm not black. Blacks have no rights. They don't. You're not black. And the laws and the powers that be and the government know exactly what I'm saying. When Obama told people he's not black, people was mad. When Obama broke down the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, I tell people off the top, presidents are not, they already selected. When you got the electoral college, things are already done. How do they know the percentage and the facts before somebody be voted in office? This is a game. And all of the presidents, they Masons, they all know each other. They don't hate each other. If you think that, that's because we're not into the know. I'm into the know. I'm able to rub shoulders with certain things. That's why I'm able to not be shut down. I don't play that black game and that pro-black stuff. I don't play that and play on people's emotions. Just because someone black, are you qualified for the position? Are you qualified to lead a people? What's your qualifications? Just like the Bible says, it's qualifications to be a pastor and a leader. What are your qualifications? What work have you put in? And most Negroes haven't put in no work. It's a popularity vote. It's based on fear. And a lot of people, like I said, we are in a sad state. Just look at the girl in Chicago and the police just killed her over some hot water. And he said he was going to shoot her in the face. He said he was going to shoot her in the face. So what law and policy is going to be administered to make sure that this don't happen again to a melanated sister? Because at first, it was just our sisters was worried about us going out the house and coming home. Now, we got to worry about our sisters as well. We got to worry about you calling the police when you think somebody, an intruder in your house, getting killed. So what's the agenda? What's the policy? Because a lot of these policies, they want the police to have full immunity for killing you. I know law and policy. I know people agendas. I know what the Heritage Fund is all about. Project 2025 is just a glimpse of that. It's just a glimpse. Project 2025 is just a glimpse of what's already been happening. How? Fear. And base everything with misnomer black people on fear. Because they cannot tell me the agenda for black people, especially my Democratic brothers. They cannot tell me the Democratic agenda. You cannot tell me the black agenda. Because every people that hold these people that they vote to accountable, they have a mission. And that's why I tell people we should be in politics. If the laws govern this world, how can you say we shouldn't deal with politics and we are in the Constitution? How can we just vote on a political party that you don't know nothing about nothing? When a person will vote Democrat and the first thing I say, okay, well, what is the Democrat agenda? For all my Democratic brothers that say, well, I'm a Democrat, I say, well, what's the agenda? Well, I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, so what's the black agenda? What's the law and policy that you hold in that president or that CEO that you vote for? What's the law and policy that you can hold that person accountable when it don't happen, when they get in office? I hear crickets. Well, we Democrat. And I say, no, we not. No, we not. We weren't always Democrat. Those were the ones that stepped on your neck in the world. I show this in history. So what is the Democrat agenda? Because I know the Republican agenda. I know most of this stuff is based on the Heritage Foundation. This is what I know. That's why I don't get all emotional when the president and presidency, because they just a face. What about the law and policy? The people to come together. And until misnomer black people come together under the divine fig tree, and then people say, well, it ain't three parties. You don't have Republican, Democrat, and another party. Well, you got the independent and all that, but it should be an agenda. If we're going to vote for a party, if we're going to vote Democrat, it should be an agenda for misnomer black people. Because I can have a clear conversation with our brothers and sisters. The whole busing the kids out of our neighborhoods. I'm from Flint, Michigan. Our city is in shambles. We have no more high schools in the city. I grew up from Flint Northern in 1995. It's shut down. It ain't no more. Our neighborhoods, it ain't no more. Because we send our kids out of our community. And then when our brothers and sisters become successful, the first thing we do is move out of the neighborhood. Why? Because our neighborhood has become Section 8 and welfare. And what's going to happen? We're going to let all these small groups buy all the plight and push Negroes into the projects on top of each other again. Instead of listening to somebody that got a plan. These are 50 and 100-year plans. I can go to the library and show you how this was designed. I can show you right now how small companies is spending millions of dollars buying all the raggedy houses in the city of Flint, and they're going to kick every Negro out the community. And you're going to be forced to do it. Because most Negroes in the neighborhood, they don't own nothing. They didn't want the house that they mom and them had. They let it, when our parents died, we don't have irrevocable trust. Everything is in private, so we lose things on taxes. The Europeans don't. We don't understand our community is valuable. We don't understand that we can have our own gardens in the community. We don't understand that we can have a private religious community. We don't understand that because we think somebody else's water is better than ours. We want to say, forget all our restaurants and our stores. We want to go to Macy's and we want to go to all their restaurants. And then when the local people, the local farmers, we don't have nothing. Because we worried about somebody becoming successful. And that should be our main issue. What is making our own kind successful? Our whole claim to fame is a Negro dribbling the ball or somebody on TV rapping. And then we move out of the neighborhood. That's our claim to fame. So once again, I ask all my brothers and sisters, because I don't have a dog in a fight. I'm willing to jump behind in a banner. Like I said, I'm with the people. I'm for the people. If we had an agenda, I'm with it. And I have to swallow my pride to roll with the agenda and the majority for our people and what's right for our people. But until my Democratic brothers say this is our agenda and this is how we're going to hold the Democratic president's person if she win, this is what we're going to hold accountable. But the average person don't know how to hold them accountable. How many people actually write the president? How many people that's from a neighborhood actually go down to the city hall and talk to the mayor when they have the open door policy? How many of our brothers and sisters on here actually go to the city council meetings in their city? I'm from Flint, Michigan. How many people on here from my city go to the city council meeting and watching them Negroes argue like a damn dog? Because that's all they doing is arguing like some dumb Negroes over at Pooh Diddley. All you got to do is pull it up on YouTube, pull up the city council meetings. Then you see what's happening in Dalton with the misnomer black lady, the mayor. Nothing. Just a whole bunch of niggardly stuff. That's why I said our agenda, I just want somebody that look like me in position. No, I want the right person. I want the qualified individual. I don't operate on emotion. I don't care having the first black woman or the first black person. That don't mean nothing to me. I want the best person. And if that person come from our community, which we should support and which we should anoint, that brother that's educated and anointed, then I'm with that. Here it is, all my European professors, they say, well, you educated, you qualified. They look at the mayors in our city. They look at the president of the council board. These people don't have no education. These people don't have no history of reading, law and policy. Everything that they do is based off emotion. Everything. And I said, we are the sad state because blacks have no rights. And they just killed the sister in Chicago, the young sister Massey. And I say, okay, so what's the policy that people should put in office and be stressing to the local mayors in that city, to the governor, to the city councilman, and all the way up to the highest board, to the president? What law and policy are we going to vote on to make sure this don't happen again? Because that brother, that European Albion, treated like that, killed her. In 6 months, he went from police department to police department, got all these DUIs on the job, and he was able to go from one police department, from one city, state, or whatever, and go to another one and work with no accountability. And you see how they look at people. Your whole agenda, not to be for the people, not that you work for the people. That girl called the police and you go and kill her. And then you have those radical and those crazy, no disrespect, I'm going to say it how I want to because I love all people. You got those crazy, racist Europeans, Albions, Trelodikes that say, well, she shouldn't have did this. No, she didn't. It was water boiling. So your whole agenda is to kill, not to disarm, not to hit a person with a taser, not to step back, it's only water, not to search the perimeters and leave. But your whole thing is to engage and then to say the things that you say. Oh, but first cut the water off. You don't want to burn the house down and I want you to burn me. And then just you telling me my words threaten you because I said I'll rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. So my words will cause you to draw your weapon. So you got to imagine if you tell somebody, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ, that's a threat. And you got a gun and all you got to do is step back and you shoot me in the face. And then you can hear all them saying, oh, the bee is crazy. And we ain't looking at that. We got a whole bunch of people that's so-called governing us that don't even live in our community. That's radicals that could come from this place to this place. And they first thing, they act like they in an Iraqi war. with some whole people in the misnomer Middle East, and their whole thing is to kill. Not to help you. If I call the police and I think something happened in my house, I call the police, and then the outcome of me calling the police is get killed. And then these people not even trained to defuse. You can tell that she has some mental issues. You can see the hospital band on her arm. You can hear how she's speaking. So the first thing that you should have is some empathy and some sympathy and defuse the situation. What? Ma'am, come outside. Let us search the perimeter of the house. There's no one in there. Okay, ma'am, your house is being searched. We searched the outside of your house. If you say that's not your car and the windows bust, we're going to tow this car. That's it. Done deal. So what's the agenda? What the agenda is to have Ben Crump every time a misnomer black person get killed, bam, it's the same old thing. And you think people care about getting a check for them killing your mother, your father, your brother, your cousin, your friend, your high school person? We think that's okay, and what Negroes do, we gonna march. And this continue to happen over and over and over. So what's the agenda for the misnomer black people? What's the agenda for the Democratic Party? What's the agenda to hold these people accountable for their actions? When you want somebody vote, your vote, it should be like gold to you. What's the agenda, my brothers and sisters? I ask every one of my brothers and sisters that. And the first thing Negroes do is get emotion, and we start disrespecting each other. Just like my professor was on my YouTube channel the other day. He was like, wow. He was like, Sheik, you got tough skin. He was like, for people to say that about you and they don't even know you and know how high a standard we have you out here in Arizona, and we love for you to speak to us. And when you take your time to speak on here, the first thing we do is be disrespectful. And we respect somebody with a gun and a badge. We'll call them yes sir and yes master and be so respectable for them. Why? Because you afraid of your life. You think that they have power over you. And so I ask my misnomer black brothers and black sisters, because I love all y'all that's Democrats. What is the Democrat agenda? What is the black agenda? What is the law and policy? And if you want my vote, how are we going to hold these individuals accountable when we cast our vote as an American citizens, when they don't uphold the things that they said they was going to do to get our vote to be in office? How are we going to hold them accountable? And you can hear a pin drop. Well, the first thing they say is, well, this. And I say, well, what? Everything be emotional. I'm willing to do the majority, but until we willing to sit down as a group of people and have these real questions and hold these people accountable, the black have no agenda, because black have no rights. The gays, the homosexuals, no disrespect to them, they have rights. The people that want their guns, the NRA, they have their rights. The animals, they have their rights. The Republicans, they have their rights and they hold people accountable. But when most people, the average black person is a Democrat, what is the Democrat agenda? What is the black agenda? And how are we going to hold these people accountable? That's the only question that I ask my people. And then I say, a person that's Democrat on here should be like, okay, well, this is the agenda. This is the agenda. This is the law and policy. This is the law and policy. It should be plain. It should be simple. No one should have to pull your teeth out to get your agenda, to get the Democrat agenda, to tell me what's the law and policy, why they continue to kill us in the streets and shoot us down like dogs, why they continue to shut our neighborhoods down and we get all these low-income jobs, why our neighborhoods is just in shambles. So I ask my brothers and sisters from love, what is the Democratic agenda? When I see all my people on here talking about the Project 2025. Okay, so what's the Project 2025? Because the Project 2025 been around since 2020. I ask everybody, do y'all know what the Heritage Foundation is? The average Negro don't. Then I start showing y'all, I don't care if they Democrat and Republican, they all sit at the same table. I can show y'all this. I show brothers this all day. We operate on emotion. Just like in the city of Flint, you got these city councilmen, all these people that's uneducated with no education. They don't know law and policy. And what do? We vote on a person. Why? Because I like them. Or could they go to my church? But what's their law and policy? What's their agenda? How do you hold these people accountable? How? Especially my people from the city of Flint. Do y'all go to the city council meetings? A lot of people just like people arguing and fighting, and that's what they say black people do, arguing and fight. But once again, if the average misnomer black person is a Democrat, please tell me the Democrat agenda. Please tell me how you're going to hold a person accountable. Because Biden said, and I hope y'all remember, Biden said that you're not black if you don't vote for me. Trump said a whole bunch of crazy stuff too. Trump wants full immunity. But what I do know, before Trump was the president, every Negro liked him. I know that. And so when I sit and talk to my people, I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm your brother. I didn't kill you. I didn't shoot you. I'm from Flint, Michigan. A Negro, black, and a color killed my baby brother, killed Jelani Goodman. And it changed my whole mental. A Negro, black, and color from our own neighborhood killed my cousin, Miguel Swain. He was slumped over in front of my friend, Mike Villeneuve's house. And don't nobody know what happened. 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 And so I just ask my brothers and sisters, we should be able to have dialogue. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. I say, okay, what's the agenda? When you want my vote, what's the agenda? Well, because we black people. Okay, what's the black agenda? I'm not black because I know blacks have no rights that no one have to abide by. The Dred Scott Law was never abolished. It was illegal to be Negro, black, and color or African American since 1858. We don't know this. When I break down the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, when I break down the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, when I break down manumissions, when I break down all these words that denote or connotate to slavery, the average Negro, they can't even fathom it. They don't even know constitutional law. They don't even know the amendments. And I say, well, what's the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15? No one can tell me because we don't have these conversations. We vote for somebody to make us feel good, or they might have the same skin as you. But I say all these skin folks are not kin folks. I want the best person in position. I don't play that color game. I play the heart of the creator. The creator created the bluebird, the blackbird, the polar bear, the black bear. I deal with the heart of man. Why? Because a Negro killed my brother, killed Jelani Goodman Bay. A Negro killed my cousin, Miguel Swain, and he was slumped over in front of our neighborhood in the broad daylight. Slumped over in his truck in front of my friend Mike Villeneuve's house, and nobody know nothing. Hell, my own brother said he'd kill me because they don't agree. I had other people on YouTube, oh, nigga, I'll kill you. Why? America is the only place that you got religious freedoms to cast your vote. America is the only place that you have the right of your religious freedoms. People leave dictator countries to come here and be all they can be. I mean, are we that crazy? Are we that crazy? So I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm not here to disrespect nobody. I'm asking a valid question, and what happens is we can't even answer a valid question. The first thing misnomer black people do, they get mad like a dog. Well, I want the first woman president. I don't care about the first woman president. When you thought Obama was the first misnomer black president, and I show you he wasn't. You have the 13 colonies before all that. We just not we don't know politics. And when I ask a person, okay, what is the Democrat agenda? What is the Democrat law and policy? That's all I ask a person that's Democrat, and they be all in my inbox and say, I know you voting Democrat, Kareem Sheik. I say, man, don't ask me nothing stupid. I vote for law and policy. I love my mom and my dad. I love my mom and my dad. They have their own political rights, but I'm educated in this. I don't vote just because, or wait, my mom and my dad is, if they might be Democrat or they might be Republican. That ain't how it swayed me. I've been through too much to just use my vote is the only thing I have power as a free man, as an American citizen, as a Moorish American, which I claim to be, which I say I am, and I tell you in your face. If I didn't know I was a Moor, I wouldn't tell you that. I don't have a problem with no one else. I know who I am. And when I travel, I know my freedoms. I know this. And before you have some civil rights, you have to have something to base your civil rights on. What? Human rights. And I know misnomer black people have no human rights. They think everything from black people is given to them. When I talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the average Negro don't even know what I'm talking about. And they have to tell the truth. When I say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and I break down all this stuff, they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. It go on deaf ears. Why? Because the hide something from a misnomer black person, where do you put it? You put it in the book. I know this for a fact. I've been dealing with this all my academia years, all my years of being a divine minister, being in Flint, Michigan, being a minister in 2 churches, coming to Arizona and creating my own thing, getting my bachelor's degree from Cleary University. I have a bachelor's degree from Cleary University, which is in Howell, Michigan, where the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan stay. I got pulled over by the sheriff out there, and I told y'all, most of them are lower level Masons and Klan. Oh, when they see my regalia and the stuff on my car, peace chic. Because it's a different world when you know who you are. Misnomer black people, everything with black people is arbitrary. Why? Because you can ask one misnomer, a black Democrat, one thing, they'll tell you something. The next one, they'll tell you something. The next one, they'll tell you something. The next one, they'll tell you something. One of them will say, I don't know. So then clearly everything about the party is arbitrarily and based on how you feel. It should be agenda. Just like my European Jewish colleagues, they have an agenda. When everybody talk about this and that, they picked up the banner and ran with it. The reason why they wealthy, because they teach that to their children in the womb. And then when their kids are young, they teach these kids how to split their money 3 ways. They teach their kids about being entrepreneur. And my European Jewish colleagues, they share with each other. They share with each other. But with misnomer black people, you got the black Greeks, fraternities, you got the black Masons, you got the black Christian, you got the black Hebrew Israelite, you got the black Muslim, you got the black this and black that, the black fraternities, and all of them have a different agenda. You can't tell me they don't. Because most people in fraternities and most people that's lower level Masons, which is in 32 or 33 degrees, which water freezes, they think the average Negro is a retard. If you're not in a society, these is facts. Just like the boule or the bougie. So I'm going to deal with a little bit of this outwitting the devil. I'm going to give a little introduction and how all this stuff is old. When I talk about Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering, when I talk about Heritage Foundation, when I talk about so many things that's already written 50 years ago, 100 years ago, when people talk about the Simpsons and how the Simpsons know this and how they can predict all this stuff, they're not predicting nothing. It's just like a comedian. You will laugh because they're telling you a little truth. It's truth and falsehood mixed. I'm transparent with everybody. I tell everybody I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. And I know a lot of European Masons. I know a lot of Negro Masons. I know a lot of them people boule. I know a lot of politicians. I have a board game with these cards. It's the Illuminati card game from 1993 that was given to me by my professor before he passed, because none of his kids was into the science and into wisdom as an intellectual. And when he found out I was part of the Philosophical Research Society like he was, they started taking me to different places. It was like, you got to start your own. They were like, we know what you're saying, but your own people, they don't. When I talk about Willie Lynch and I show y'all that was fake, it should be in the Library of Congress. When I talk about roots and I show y'all that was plagiarized from a European named Harold Colander, they'll let us have this stuff. They'll let misnomer black people have these things. And so when I ask my brothers and sisters about things that was already written, they don't know. So I'm going to give a little insert of this science, outwitting the devil. And just think about it. And it's a question and answer. And I did this on the college campus, and it blew a lot of people's mind. So I'm going to go through the question and answer part per se. The first question the interviewee is asking the writer: I have often wondered why your opposition, what we earthbound call God, does not annihilate you. Question: can you tell me why? Answer: because the power is as much mine as his. it is as available to me as to him. That is what I have been trying to get over to you. The highest power in the universe can be used for constructive purposes through what you call God, or it can be used for negative purposes through what you call the devil. I'll give you an analogy. Like when people see the swastika, the misnomer swastika, and that's not even the name of the swastika. The first thing they say is that's something that Hitler established. And I say, that's you a lie, and ain't no truth in you. I can take you to the continent of Africa and show you that it's in all the monuments, and it's letting the good energy in, the bad energy out. I could take you in martial arts into China and Korea when that means orthodox and they spiritual. When you see a lot of those martial artists and they say, oh, he's an orthodox, karate man, or he's an orthodox master, that means not only he know how to work his weapons, not only he know how to work his tools, but he know how to work his mind, and he know how to get into his higher self. That means he believe in something bigger than himself. I took students to the Herb Museum, and all this stuff is in the Herb Museum. If you ever come to Arizona, all you got to do is hit me up. I'll take you to the Herb Museum. I get to go for free as an educator. And I'll show you all this. And the courier, the person that walked the people in the Herb Museum, they'll show you this stuff. And this all I ask my brothers and sisters. We got to get out of this emotional stuff. The first thing I ask a person that's Democrat, what's the Democrat agenda? If you black, what's the black agenda? And how you going to hold people accountable? What's the law and policy? I ask everybody that. They want to see the first woman or the first man black do this. And I say, but I'm not black. And if you think you black, prove it. You can't. Because there's no rights that black people have. The only rights of a black people and misnomer black people was only created from the people that created you. And the only people is going to get reparations for creating you is the person that created you. I'm all for reparations. But a misnomer black person, which is a slave, you're not going to get reparations. I don't care how many lawyers that you get, you're going to lose every time. I guarantee you this. I bet anybody $1,000, black people, misnomer black people would never get reparations. And you ask any person with some sense, whoever got paid for reparations for black people, they'll tell you they master. That's all I ask people when they say they Democratic. I say, well, what is the Democrat agenda? They can't even tell you. I ask them, what is the law and policy for Democrats? And if you want my vote, which I take dearly, how are we going to hold these people accountable once they get in office? That's all I ask. Because I know what's going on with the other side. I know what the Heritage Foundation is all about. Project 2025 is just a speaking point. I can take you deeper and deeper on this because I'm initiated. The next question, you make a far-reaching claim. Can you prove your claim? The answer is yes, but it would be better if you prove it for yourself. The devil's word is not worth much among you earthbound sinners. Neither is God's word. You fear the devil and refuse to trust your God. Therefore, you have but one source available through which you may appropriate the benefit of universal power, and that is by trusting and using your own power of thought. All my European professor was like, man, if you go back to the city of Flint and the people get behind you, he was like, you would change the city. I ask people, how many people do we got in political office that's educated in business and educated in spirituality, that's done businesses like me, that can tell you about tax code and every misnomer black people that's want a tax return. And I tell you that your money don't go run the United States of America. It's sitting in the private banking system. And we got to establish ourselves and our community as a tax exempt religious organization so we can use our tax dollars to build our infrastructure up. So we can have our religious and private neighborhoods. So we can have our schools and our churches in our city. When people talk about what the church is going to do, the church is supposed to be the educational house, not just a place where you in there screaming some hallelujah and thinking you speaking in tongue, speaking some gibberish, and you talking about, oh, I spoke in tongue. You ain't speaking tongue. You spoke gibberish. Speaking in tongue is understanding the language and someone there to interpret that language. Speaking in tongue is not gibberish. That's blasphemy. There is no other world available to any human being. The next question arises. Why have we earthbound not found the road to infinite intelligence sooner? And then as I got to, add my pieces in, and I said, just like Carter G. Woodson said, the miseducation of the Negro. What? Our preachers, our teachers, and our politicians. Those Negroes that get in there with that black agenda. and not dealing with law and policy, not dealing with education, not dealing with spirituality, that we put people in positions because we like them. When all these people go to these church, oh, do you hear the pastor, what he was doing? He was singing. Did that make him anointed? Oh, I was called to ministry. That ain't what the Bible says. The Bible says in Titus that it's qualifications to be a pastor. It's qualifications. You must be able to teach and preach. You must understand finances. It's a whole repertoire of things that you must do. But what misnomer black people do? We get some country brunker from down south, the poly parrot or hack, and we think that's something. That's what we do. We don't even use, they try to separate church and state. They wanted to do that. It's a reason why, to keep Negroes operating on Jesus fix it and not understanding policy, not understanding education. Man, I ask a lot of people, since you graduated high school, what have you done? What have you accomplished? The first thing a Negro say, I got a job, I got married. That ain't nothing. What have you read? What do you know? Who do you support that wouldn't put the work in like myself and others and petition them to come back to the city? So we can have some collectively. So we can have something collectively. We don't. But the next question was, why have we earthbound not found the road to infinite intelligence sooner? The answer is, because I have intercepted you and led you off the path by planting in your minds thoughts which destroy your power to use your minds constructively. I have made it attractive to you to use the power of infinite intelligence to attain negative ends through greed, avarice, lust, envy, hatred. Remember, your mind attracts that which your minds dwell upon. To divert you away from my opposition, I had only to feed you on thoughts helpful to my cause. The next question may arise. If I understand what you are saying, you are admitting that no human being need fear the devil or worry about how to flatter God. The answer, that is precisely. This admission may put a crimp in my style, but I have this satisfaction of knowing it may also slow down my opposition by sending people direct to the source of all power. And we don't understand in our communities we have power. We don't understand people like me that's educated and anointed. I can sit in any house and people listen. I'm over 3,000 miles away from home in Arizona, and I got Europeans behind me that listen. They're like, well, we understand what you're saying. Your people need to understand this and teach them and show them the law and policy and get them from being emotional. Here are some points and dialogues that I get explicitly theologically, using the devil as a foil and letting words come out of the mouth of the symbol of evil. I'm going to lay out thoughts and feelings about God, infinite intelligence, as the ultimate source for the overall philosophy of success per se. So the next question arises. In other words, if you cannot control people through negative bribes of fear, then you wish to kick over the entire apple cart and show people how to directly to God. Are you by any chance in politics too? Your technique seems frightfully familiar. And when I do this on the college campus, I don't ever have to ask for donations because they give me donations before I come, and I give them literature, and I give everybody a tax-exempt receipt. When I do these lectures, I ask my family and friends for $5 and $10. Me and my dad had a long conversation last night. He was like, son, you're the only one in our family that has degrees. You're the only one in families that's anointed and consecrated. He was like, how people think we're going to build something with just off your money? I'm not a millionaire. If 1 million people gave $1, that's $1 million. I'll spend that on what? Our infrastructure. And we could continue to do that. And you get a tax-exempt receipt. If people support our ministry and our mission, I can do so much. But only can do what I can by speaking on the internet and then going to do my worldly job and then going on the college campus speaking to all those people that's in academia, because most of us and most of our children can't afford those degrees. And most of our people are not a part of different societies. And so I don't have a problem with asking my people for a small donation if we're going to spend it anyway. And we fear about taxes when I break down tax codes and I say, listen, your money does not go to run the United States of America. It sits in a private banking system. You should decipher your money to support your religious and charitable contribution of your choice and get a tax-exempt receipt. I ask everybody that go to church that give their tithes and offering, do your pastor give you a tax-exempt receipt? They don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I ask those people, do they know what in-kind service consists of this? They don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I say, if you're giving your tithes and offering, and I sat a family down, and the husband and wife say they give $24,000 to the church apiece, and then I say, okay, do you get a tax-exempt receipt? He said, what's that? I said, from your church, because you paying taxes through the church. You are exempt from taxes when you pay your taxes through the church. What do you mean, Sheik? That means that you can file exempt, not just for 6 months, not just for a year, but forever. You don't got to worry about getting audited. All you do is take that tax exempt receipt from your religious and charitable contribution of your choice to your tax preparer, and then that's it. What you say you giving got to match with what the establishers say you giving. That's it. And then every state, they have a certain amount of number or a certain amount of percentage of dollars that you got to donate to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice to offset the money that you giving to Uncle Sam, to pay less. These is facts. Why y'all think Oprah give away cars? Why y'all think Dre give away money? Why y'all think every European, no disrespect, and Democrat, they have all these organizations? Why? Because they decipher their money to their campaign and to their agenda, to what they believe in. They use their tax dollars for that. They set their children up to go to college and get educated like I've done and set up these organizations. And then all their rich friends and all that, they donate their tax dollars. Why y'all think the Sopranos were set up through the church? Why y'all think misnomer black preachers, they get a subpoena and no European Catholic minister or priest, when they don't get subpoena? Why? Because that's lawyer and client confidentiality. I just told y'all, blacks have no rights. We don't even understand law and policy. And that's by us going to the church and people support me, giving donations. I can come back to my city of Flint and give you a tax-exempt receipt. You don't have to say, oh, I'll let Uncle Sam take all this money out of my check because you think you're getting a tax return. And then when I sit down and show you how much money Uncle Sam take out your check out of the whole year, you happy about getting some pennies back? It's just like misnomer black people don't know how to read their consumer bill. They don't know how to read it. I know that for a fact. So the answer is, I am in politics. I am in politics. If I am not in politics, who do you believe starts depressions and forces people into wars? Surely would not lay this at the door of my opposition. Why? Because families don't deal with each other if they don't agree. Well, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. Here it is, families don't talk to each other over, oh, well, you a Christian, or you a Muslim, or you this and that and the other. Or nope, or I'm in a fraternity and all that. Nope, nope, nope. That's crazy. And I have already told you, I have allies in all walks of life to help me in connection with all human relations. The next question. Gratitude for the donation, brother. Yep, it's cash. Hold on. It's Cash App, $KG Bay. I got my college, I got my other phone up, and a lot of my ex-students and a couple of my professors on there, the ones that I deal with, they always support. Always. And I always say gratitude. That's why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things up. And when I have my one social media platform up just for my college students, because I don't have to deal with people disrespecting me on my college social media with all the college students that I deal with and the professors. I get no disrespect, not one. But I understand that on social media, and I have to have tough skin when I'm doing that. So, question, why don't you take over the churches and use them outright in your cause? That's a question. The answer is, do you think I am a fool? Who would keep alive the fear of the devil if I substituted the churches? Who would serve as a decoy to attract the attention of people while I manipulate their minds if I did not have some agency through which to sow the seeds of fear and doubt? I told y'all it's a whole dilemma. I can't think of it. It'll come to my mind. It's a grant. It's some funding where the Christian dome, I don't care if you black or white, if you preach a certain style, you get funding. It'll come to me because I wrote it down. I lectured on it. I showed people the agenda. I showed people where you can apply for all this. I showed people this. I'll have to find it. But if any of my muftis was on here, they should speak of it. If y'all on my social media, any of my muftis, please put it in the text stream because I'm on YouTube as well. And it's an agenda, and I can show you. And that's how a lot of churches get funding to build churches in the communities. As long as people fear something, no matter what, I will keep a grip on them. The next question, I am beginning to see your scheme. This is the question. You use the churches to plant the seed of fear and uncertainty and indefiniteness in the minds of people. These negative states of mind causes people to form the habit of drifting. This habit crystallizes into permanency through the law of hypnotic rhythm. Then the victim is helpless to help himself or herself. Is that right? Question. Hypnotic rhythm, saying it over and over. The devil, you're going to die and go to hell, the devil. There ain't no devil. Lucifer is the morning star. The sun sets and the sun rises. Then is something to be watched and respected. The answer, a better way of stating the truth, is that hypnotic rhythm is something to be studied. When I talk about psychomancy, the book that's on Amazon that costs grips, when I lecture on a college campus, when I can show you how to manipulate the mind. Involuntary applied to attain definite desires to ends. The next question arises. If the force of hypnotic rhythm is not voluntary applied to attain definite ends, may it be a great danger? Question. Answer. Yes, and for the reason that it operates automatically. If it is not consciously applied to attain a desired end, it can and it will operate to attain undesired ends. Take the simple illustration or the analogy of climate, for example. Anyone can see and understand that nature forces every living thing and every element of matter to adjust itself to her climates. In the tropics, gratitude for the donation, family. In the tropics, she creates trees which bear fruit and reproduce themselves. She forces the trees to adjust themselves to her scorching sun. She forces them to put out leaves suitable for protection against the rays of the sun. Peace, Noble Brian. These same trees cannot survive if removed to the Arctic regions, where nature has established an entirely different climate. In the colder climate, she creates trees which are adjusted to survive and to reproduce themselves. But they could not survive and transplanted in the tropical regions. That's why you don't feed a polar bear what you feed a grizzly bear. Why? Because they have two different chemical makeups. In the same manner, nature clothes her animals, giving to those in each different climate a covering suited to their comfort and survival in that climate. I'm not saying everyone don't have melanin, because everyone do have melanin. Yep, Champion Sound LLC said the faith-based initiative. My Noble Brian, we on YouTube as well. When I'm speaking, a lot of stuff just go over my head because I don't have my notes. But absolutely, research the faith-based initiative. I did that whole lecture on college campus. You could hear a pin drop. And my professor said, you're never going to get that faith-based initiative. And I said, you know why? He said, you know why? Because you're a free thinker and you're educated. You didn't go to some seminary to be trained like a dog, which most Negro preachers are. He said, you're not trained as a dog. You educated and you have a mind. You're a free thinker. I use reason. I understand things. I understand language. I understand etymon. I understand etymology. Oh, peace, Drayshawn. Peace, Noble Drayshawn. Peace and love. In a similar manner, nature forces upon the mind. That's one of my muftis as well. In a similar manner, nature forces upon the mind of men and women the influences of their environment, which are stronger than the individual's own rights or own thoughts, Children are forced to take on the nature of all influences of those around them unless their own thoughts are stronger than the influences. Nature sets up a definite rhythm for every environment, and everything within the range of that rhythm is forced to conform to it. Man, woman alone has the power to establish his or her own rhythm of thought, providing he or she exercise this privilege before hypnotic rhythm has forced upon him or her the influences of his or her environment. When I tell y'all, research the Black Christian codes, it was illegal for me to speak to y'all without having some, no disrespect again, a European, an Albion, or Trailer overseer from the Protestant church to tell me how to speak and teach, to tell you that you a slave. And then they can revoke your license at any time. Research the Black Christian codes. Let's research it and see if I'm saying anything false to you. And then I start showing y'all real agendas. When I show you the Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering by John Coleman, I start showing you so much stuff. Then I start showing y'all videos from Steve Coakley when he talk about the Greek is a fraud, when he talk about the boule. This is a plan from the beginning of time. Every home, every place of business, every town and village, and every street and community center has its own definite, discernible rhythm. And if you wish to know what a difference there is in the rhythm of streets, take a walk up Fifth Avenue in New York and then down the street in the slums. All forms of rhythm become what? Permanent within time. Take a walk in an urban neighborhood in the city of Flint, Michigan. When I was growing up, I got people out here, I got people on my YouTube page from Flint. Take a look at the city of Flint, how it used to be when we was kids, and look at it today. Look at our community today, and then when you see where the funds has been diverted to, and then talk about it's no funds, you got to be alive. What's the misnomer black agenda? What's the Democratic agenda? I don't have no dog in the fight. I know law and policy, but what's the agenda? And when you take my vote, how am I going to hold you accountable? That's all I ask my brothers and sisters. It got to be a plan if you go to all so-called urban communities and the hardest hit fund, especially my people that's still living in their same community that they grew up in the city of Flint, which we call the hood and the block, and it's all raggedy. But then we all have tax dollars and we all Democrats. Why is none of the money being deciphered back in your community? Have you asked yourself that? Have you asked yourself that? That's why I say, why do we get into the habit of disrespecting each other? And I don't get disrespected in college and academia. Here it is, I got my whole social media up with my college colleagues and people that I tutor at the college roundtable. It's 18 people on there, and they all say, well, you've been educating us ever since you've been in college. When I do these lectures on college campus, when they don't have a problem with giving donations because they know it ain't no black or white thing. That's not real. And I give them a tax exempt receipt. And they helped me build the infrastructure. I told y'all, a real shaman, a real medicine man, like Credo Matua told our brothers and sisters, a person that have wisdom, that's educated, can come back to a community and teach their people reading, math, multiplication, finances, how to work with their hand. I don't disrespect no one, like Haile Selassie in Ethiopia or Abyssinia, whatever you want to call it. After he brought a lot of the people from their home country or their home region and brought them to the States to educate themselves, and they went back home to do what? Be the leaders and be the teachers, create schools. Everybody don't have the finances to do that. Just like in my city of Flint, everybody didn't have the finances to move from Arizona to go to Clear University, which was in the Ku Klux Klan home state, in Howell, Michigan, and get a bachelor's degree in business management with a minor in marketing and sales and nonprofit business startup, and graduate with honors, and then move to Arizona and get a dual master's degree in first century history and religion with a minor in linguistics and Christian education and Christian counseling. Everybody don't have the privilege to do that, but then still speak. I didn't get whitewashed. My oral dissertation, I debunked the Eurocentric and the Negrocentric propaganda. That was my oral dissertation. I proved my plight. So let's proceed. Yes, the answer. That is precise, the major difference between individuals. The person who thinks in terms of power, success, opulence, sets up a rhythm which attracts these desirable possessions. The person who thinks in terms of misery, failure, defeat, discouragement, and poverty attracts these undesirable influences. This explains why both success and failure are the result of habit. How? I told people, the only people that ever got paid for reparations is the European, the Albion, the Trinidad that created you. And when I'm for reparations, but the misnomer black man reparations is welfare, public housing, cheap medical stuff. That's where it's at. No disrespect to no one. Habit establishes one rhythm of thought, and the rhythm attracts the objects of one's dominating thoughts. Because if you want something from the government for free and all that, then that's your daddy. When you get something like public housing, and then in the public housing contract, it says when a woman owns Section 8, and when a woman getting welfare from the state, and they say it can't be a man in the house, and this, and that, and the other, you signed the contract. Did you read the contract when you got it? And then when those people be coming to check on the house, they want to revoke your welfare and your Section 8 because you're not abiding by the rules that they said. Didn't you read this in the contract? You didn't know that you were a willing obligor. And then our sisters, they get on Instagram and they love sharing, Section 8 is available now. That's all y'all want is Section 8 and some freaking welfare? Like, really? You want cheap public housing? You don't want to sit down with the child father. You don't want to sit down and y'all get y'all mind right. You want the government to be your daddy. You want public housing and welfare and some food stamps. That's what our community has been. Why? Because I know so many women that'll jump on this damn social media, especially on Facebook, and be like, oh, Section 8 now, the applications is open. So you want welfare. So the government is your daddy. So the next question arises. Gratitude, Noble. Gratitude for the donation. But hypnotic rhythm is something resembling a magnet which attracts things for which it has a magnetic affinity. Is that correct? The answer, yes, that is correct. That is why the poverty-stricken herd themselves into the same communities. It explains that old saying, misery loves company. It also explains why people who began to succeed in any undertaking find that success multiplies with less effort as time goes on. All successful people use hypnotic rhythm, either consciously or unconsciously, by expecting and demanding success. When we say we're supposed to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps like the European Jews did, but we are talking about, well, they got this money. Man, I ain't worrying about that. Everybody say they free now. Everybody got a job now. What are you doing with your finances? Do you know tax code? No, we don't. What are you supporting with your tax dollars? Because I speak on this on campus. When all of my European supporters that look like me, that understand, they say it ain't no black and white thing. It's a people thing versus the government. And they don't get their money to Uncle Sam. I get them a taxes and receipt. My professors support what I'm doing. They're in a high tax bracket. They say, I ain't got to give my money to Uncle Sam to sit in a private banking system. I'm going to support you, young man, until I die to help your ministry. So when you die, and if you die before us, we're going to come and speak on your behalf. We're going to come and say, we supported you with our tax dollars that most Negroes think they're getting a tax return. And then I'll sit every Negro down individually and show you how much Uncle Sam took out your check. And I'll show you the tittle that you got back. Because taxes and tax returns are only good for investors and entrepreneurs. The only people that's getting a tax return unless you claiming a whole bunch of kids. Your tax dollars supposed to be used to run your religious and charitable contribution of your choice, to build your neighborhood up, to build your schools and your temples in your neighborhood. You can't be a part of a church and then just go to church and y'all don't have no local in schools and you can't send your kid to the church and get educated if they fail it in school. But you got all these misnomer retarded black people in the church. I got a PhD. I'm a teacher at this school. Really? But all you retarded Negroes going to church and it ain't no church in school. And they separated church and state and religion and church. And church and state, it's separate. It's a reason why. For y'all can't have these conversations that I'm having y'all. So you can't use your tax dollars and it go where? To the government. And you can use your tax dollars to build your infrastructure. This is what the Jews do. This is what they do. They preach this from the pulpit. The next question. In other words, if I know what I want from life, demand it, and back my demand by a willingness to pay life's price for what I want, and refuse to accept any substitutes. The law of hypnotic rhythm takes over my desire and helps, by natural and logical means, to transmute it into its physical counterpart. Is that true? Answer. That describes the way the law works. I don't be on here to disrespect no one. You got these pro-black people with all that stuff, and they talk about this black cause. But I bet you a lot of people from the continent of Africa, I bet you they don't call themselves black. I bet you this. When I talk about status, when I say white by law, and people get up and say, what you mean white by law? You a white man? I never said that. I said my status, white by law. I deal with law and policies. I'm not emotional on anything. I'm educated. I ain't say black wasn't beautiful, but black is an adjective. Black is an adjective. And in Spanish, negrito means black. When you look at the beans, what they call them? Negrito beans. When you see the word Negro and its derogatory uses, what is your nationality? What is your race? What is your status? I teach law and policy, and then I have you go research some things and come back. I don't base my understanding or nothing that I speak on emotion. I'm not emotional on anything. But that describes the way the world works. The next question. Science has established irrefutable evidence that people are what they are because of heredity and environment. They bring over with them at birth, a combination of all the physical qualities of their numberless ancestors. I'll give you an analogy. If you eat slave food like chitlins and all that stuff, and you don't understand that was slave food, and that's what we had to eat, and then you promulgate that to your children now, that's your tradition. That's your tradition, and a lot of our tradition, it kills us. High blood pressure, diabetes come from what we choose to eat and drink. And then it get passed down in our seeds, just like that movie Soul Food. That movie Soul Food and the TV series Soul Food. And you see they all die. Big Mama getting her legs cut off. They eating all that poison food. And then they go right back to do what? Eat themselves and drink themselves in a slumber. Why you think they put all those sugary drinks in the continent of Africa to kill the indigenous people? Why you think they did it in Mexico, aka Mexico? And I can show you that all those kids and babies got diabetes because they drinking Coke all day. Y'all don't know that? And it's poison. And then you got these so-called vegans and all that. I say, I hear you, but I'm under a Hebrew diet, aka kosher, kasher. It's the way we kill our animals and letting the blood drain. The indigenous people, we raised our animals. We knew what we fed our animals. We ate meat. We ate a certain amount of meat. Why? Because we raised our cattle. What are you talking about? We didn't go to no grocery store. We ain't go to the store and drink no pusk from some that sat on a shelf for all these times. That wasn't what we did. And after they arrived here, they reached the age of self-consciousness. And from there on, they shaped their own personalities and more or less fixed their own earthly destinations as the result of the environmental influences to which they are subjected, especially the influences which controlled them during what? Early childhood. When right now you see parents, they'll take their kids to McDonald's all day and get on here talk about they poisoning us. You would go to the dispensary and get all the medical marijuana but won't grow your own and talk about they poison us. You choosing to do that. You would go to the store and right now parents got Little Debbie Hostess cakes and your kid, the rate that our kids are being born, ADHD and autistic by what we feed them, by what we give them to drink. We continue to do. You can go in parent household right now on their cabinet in the fridge, in the freezer. They got all genetic modified organisms. What? Hot Pockets. This, not, and the other. All these things. Ketchup that's made with all these things, and you feed them to your kid that's autistic or with a so-called learning disability or on a spectrum with all those cornstarch in it, and you don't understand that that's killing your child. Why? Because you eating it too. You don't understand why your body is all messed up. And then our sisters and our brothers say, well, that just means I'm older. I'm the same age you are. I'm the same age most of these people are. I'm the same age everybody here. A lot of people I went to school with. I know people that's younger than me and are messed up physically because they don't know how to cook. They don't want to cook. They go to McDonald's and Burger King, or they buy everything processed foods, throw it in the microwave, Hot Pockets, Pizza Pockets, all these different sodas and all these different pops and things. And then want to get on here and try to tell somebody something. You willingly killing yourself as a willing obligor. How can a hypnotic rhythm change the nature of a physical body, which is a combination of thousands of ancestors who have lived and died before one is born? How can hypnotic rhythm change the influence of one's environment? People who are born in poverty and ignorant, have a strong tendency to remain what? Poverty stricken and ignorant all their life. They'll say eating healthy costs too much. I can't tell. Y'all doing all these girls trips. You going to the store buying stuff. You doing all this stuff. Eating healthy and eating clean. It ain't that expensive. Eating that bullcrap. Hell, a McDonald's meal, super size, costs about $10, $11, $12. What are you talking about? But we don't know how to prioritize. We don't food prep. Why? Because Negroes lazy. I know people right now feed their kids cereal. And your kid got a so-called learning disability or autistic, but we lazy. What we'll do, you feed your kid the cereal, you feed your kid some Lucky Charms, and I'll show you what's all in that. Arsenic. All type of poison. All processed. But you'll go to the store and you'll let your kid cry, and on top of your refrigerator, you got all these cereals and all these snacks. Honey buns and Swiss Miss and all that stuff, that's poison. When I showed y'all the book, Melanin, The Chemical Key to Black Greatness, and I showed y'all how much that book cost, every person that's been on my page should have gave a donation to get that. But we don't. We ignorant and poverty stricken. And we stay ignorant. What, if anything, can hypnotic rhythm do about this? Oh, gratitude for the donation. Hold on, what did he say? He said, I'm going to GCU this semester. Would you please come on campus every Wednesday to the student union? I already come every Wednesday. I'll just wait for the semester to start back, brother. But email me at goodmancurry@gmail.com and let me know who your counselor and everything. And I'll come up there into the doctoral library and talk with everybody in your class and share books and things like I did last semester. I used to be on the college campus, and I used to have over 1,100 students from all the different fields of study. And I used to give them books for $5 a piece. And I used to have I distribute, I don't mean 1,100 students, but I go over almost 1,100 books because I have a dialogue, and I let all those college kids get those books for $5 a piece. And I was doing that every Wednesday, bringing in $5,500 every Wednesday, just by offering them books that when they sit right there on Amazon, they like, this book costs $500. Sheik, Rabbi, this book costs $400. This book costs $5,000. And they don't have a problem. A lot of the college students, they have their tablets. And so they'll get the PDF documents from me that I convert to PDF and have it on their tablet. And then they'll just print it and bind it, or they'll have my company, bindedbooks.com, print and bind the books. So when I tell people go on mypdfbooks.com, that's books with the Z, mypdfbooks.com, and look at the plethora of books I have. Go on my other company, bindedbooks.com, and look at the plethora of books that I print and bind for a fraction of the cost that they have on Amazon. My professor was saying, your people, misnomer black people, everybody that say they love you, they'll go on Amazon and buy all their books instead of supporting you. And we made Jeff Bezos rich. How? By buying books, by buying items. I got another company called MoorishHaberdasher.com that I got all type of clothing, Moorish American regalia, our native regalia, tarbushes, kufis, bonnets, our tunics, and our kuthra. I even design clothing and everything. And I don't have none of my people support. If my people supported that, I'll use a big percentage of my money to come back and build our infrastructure. It takes finances. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I came back to my city of Flint, people, I was getting ready to spend my whole life savings on buying an old church and establishing it to a temple. And then a lot of my colleagues that support me, I got a lot of professors from Clear University. They came from Howell, Michigan. And it was like, man, please don't spend your own money on this. and be sitting up in here and paying all these bills and then expecting the people to come. And you can't even get people in their homes to join on the internet and to give donations. Don't waste your money. They're like, no, take care of your family. Do something that you love. You put the work in. You educate it. Continue to build and see what your people help you. Because I was blinded. I said, if anything, I just use my money. So, that's what I'm saying. The question was, next one. Oh, the answer was, hypnotic rhythm cannot change the nature of the physical body one inherits at birth, but it can, and it does modify, change, control, and make permanent one's environmental influences. The next question. If I understand what you mean, a human being is forced by nature to take on and become a part of the environment he chooses or the environment that may be forced upon him. The answer, that is correct. But there are ways and means by which an individual may resist the influence of an environment he does not wish to accept, and also a method of procedure by which one may reverse the application of hypnotic rhythm from negative to positive ends. I'll give a little bit more because I got a meeting with somebody online, and then I'll thank everybody for taking the time out y'all day. The next question, do you mean that there is a definite method by which hypnotic rhythm can be made to serve instead of destroy one? The answer, yes, absolutely. I mean just that. The next question arises. Tell me how this astounding end may be attained. The answer, for my description to be of any practical value, it will be necessary lengthily because it will have to cover 7 principles of psychology which must be understood and applied by all who use hypnotic rhythm to aid them in forcing life to yield that which they want. The next question. Then breaking your description into 7 parts, each giving a detailed analysis of one of the 7 principles with simple instruction for its practical application. And so I'm going to stop right there. The next chapter I'll give y'all will be chapter 8, the definiteness of purpose. And when I talk about 1, the definite of purpose, the mastery of self, once again, all Europeans are going to agree with me. What? Know thyself. Learning from adversary. The true art of war is knowing how someone thinks. 4, controlling environmental influence, associations. 5, time, giving permanency to positive rather than negative thought habits and developing wisdom. When most people only go to church on Sunday. But my Jewish people, my European Jewish colleagues and my lower level European Masons, they in a synagogue Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They do this 7 days a week. 6, harmony, acting with definiteness of purpose to become the dominating influence in your own mental, spiritual, and physical environment. And 7, caution, thinking through your plan before you act. Thinking through your plan before you act. When I tell us, most of our misnomer black people just operate on emotion and we don't think to after the fact. That's why most black people, they say they sorry and they apologize. That's why the Bible said, forgive my people for they don't know what they've done. Ignorance. 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 So I'm just writing something down, y'all. So as I close, I ask all my people, all the brothers and sisters that come with that black stuff and that come with that political party, that come with that Democrat, and or even with that Republican stuff, what is the agenda? What is the agenda? What do you say? That's right, brother. I love you too, man. I love everyone. I love everyone, man. Because we a people. What the preamble say? We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, and what? Establish this Constitution to the United States of America. I'm an American. What type of American? I'm a Moorish American. I understand all my people in the continent of Africa. I love them all. And we all have African descent. All of us. All of us. If that ain't the case, how you think all of the European princes, when they wear the Moorish heads like you see on me, they got a tittle of black blood, misnomer black blood in their veins. How you think they able to claim things? Like when I break down 100 of the amazing facts of the Negro, I'll give y'all something here real fast before I close. Just to blow your mind, because I know most of us don't read. When y'all see this picture right here, when y'all see that, you think that's the Ku Klux Klan. You think that, and I tell you, everything is stolen from us. Everything is stolen legacy. I broke it down yesterday from George G.M. James, stolen legacy. All Greek history is stolen Egyptian history, or AKA African history. This picture you looking at below is a parade of Seville Negro order. Of the Seville Negro order. And the descendants of these Spanish Negroes are quite bleached from mixing with their white neighbors. But the old Negro traditions remain. The Negro Church of Nostra, Centro de Los Angeles, in the barrio Carmona is still maintained by them. Priests, guides, and others in Seville informed J.A. Rogers that the garb is exactly like that of centuries ago. And for earlier information on these negritos, as they are called in Seville, you can see Zungas, Zunigas Annals de Sevilla. It was published in Madrid in 1677, and I have them. Later, the Negroes rose to a position of prominence and had a count, after whom one of the streets is still named. If the originators of the Ku Klux Klan did not copy the garb of these Negroes, then the coincidence is really amazing. Look for yourself. Look for yourself. But it was illegal for us to study and read. It was illegal for the misnomered black man to be have history. I'll give y'all a little bit more before I go. I just want to show y'all some stuff. I have a full library with over 1 million books and documents. I can get all historical. Estevanco, a Negro from Morocco, was one of a party of 4 to cross the North American continent in 1536 for the first time. The journey took 9 years. In 1539, he headed an expedition that discovered Arizona, where I'm at now, and New Mexico. Estevanco's travels served to open up the Southwest and the states west of Florida as far as the Pacific. I'll give you a little bit of science and invention. Jan Ernest Matzeliger, Janernest, Matzeliger, a Dutch West Indian Negro living in Lynn, Massachusetts, invented the first machine for sewing the soles on shoes to the uppers. This invention, which was 11 years in the making, revolutionized the industry and gave shoes supremacy to the United States. Research what I'm saying. George Washington Carver of Tuskegee Institute, one of the world's greatest architectural chemists, was awarded the Roosevelt Medal in 1939 for distinguished service in his field of science. I wrote and gathered 2 books to destroy Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda, and I gathered and compiled a book of more scientists in history, which a lot of our people never ever heard of. And I've written these books over 10 years ago. And all college people have my books on the college campus at GCU. From the peanut, all this stuff, he extracted 285 products. Jews and Ethiopians. This is what I want y'all to listen. The Mohammedans believed that Moses was a black man. Their Bible, the Quran says so. God told Moses, and it's in your Bible, to put his hand into his bosom. The Quran says that it came out white. The commentators declared that Moses' hand could not have been white before. and that the miracle Yahweh, they say Jehovah, but it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. I'll teach that later. Intended was making the black skin white and then turning it black again. The Septuagint, or the Greek Bible, agrees with the Quran. The characters of the Bible are largely Negroes. The Jews were slaves to the Egyptians for nearly 430 years. Only 70 Jews went to Egypt with Jacob, and the Bible says that 600,000 men left with Moses, which according to Haushofer meant a total of 3,154,000 with women and children. And for this large number to have left mixing with the Egyptians, who were black, when they say they were black as gypsies, must have taken place on a vast scale. About 12 million Negroes were brought to the New World. That's what they say. Medicine, Imhotep of ancient Egypt, was the real father of medicine. He lived about 2300 BC. Greece and Rome had their knowledge of medicine from him when I talk about stolen legacy. In Rome, he was worshipped as the Prince of Peace in the form of a black man. His Ethiopian portraits show him a Negro. Imhotep was also prime minister to the king Zoser, Z-O-S-E-R, as well as the foremost architect of the time. The saying, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, has been traced to him. Hippocrates, the so-called father of medicine, or Hippocrates, the father of medicine, lived 2,000 years after Imhotep. Ibn Ali, an African Negro, was private physician to Charles VII, King of France, 1403 to 1465, when the king fell dangerously ill. Ibn Ali was sent for, and he cured him. Thereafter, the king made him a member of his suite. In politics, France has 6 colored cabinet members. Sarviano de Hernanda in 1887, Senator Henry Leonardi, 1915 and 1918 and 1934, Alice Delmont, Blasey Dion, Gretchen Candace, Gaston Monerville, all these is in the 1900s. I can go on more and more, but it'll take too long. And I'll give y'all the last one. Religion, the oldest and most noted statue in the world, bears the face of a Negro. What is it? It's the Sphinx of Giza, which was worshipped as Horus. Harmachis, the sun god, or light and life. It was erected about 5000 BC. And the so-called devil, which is now depicted as black, was once portrayed as white. And when the black man dominated the planet, he painted the forces of evil white. No disrespect to no one. I just don't want nobody to get caught up in pseudo-academia when you think that your skin is a curse. No disrespect. The Bible really originated in ancient Egypt, where the population, according to Herodotus and Aristotle, was black. And here the Jews received almost all of their early culture. Proof and Professor Breasted, leading Egyptologists, saying the ripe social and moral development of mankind in the Nile Valley, which are 3,000 years older than that of the Hebrews, contributed essentially to the formation of Hebrew literature. I can go on and on. I can go on and on with the history. I'll give you another etymology or etymon of a word, and we'll close. Slavery. The word slave was originally applied to white people. No disrespect. White, Trinidite, Albion. I started pulling out books. I got books. It's called White Cargo. If I give y'all the book for a small donation, and I got them printed and binded. It's a book called White Cargo, and there's another book called They Were White and They Were Slaves. It breaks all this stuff down. It's no disrespect. They just started you at one part of history where you think you some African booty scratcher. But the word slavery, and no disrespect to none of my people in the continent of Africa, because I love everyone. I love everyone. We got our own people in Europe. A lot of my people in Africa speak French because a lot of them was colonized. When I talk about the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, research the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. And I can show you how all them Belgian, how all of them they assassinated, and they used his own people to assassinate him and kill him and pour acid on him and disperse of his body. His own people did that. And then they became in power. Because how? A European, an Albion, a Chaldite don't have that much power to overthrow you. It's going to take your own kind and your own community to do this. Research the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. Research what I'm telling you. Any of my brothers, research it. So the word slavery, or the word slave, was originally applied to white people. It comes from Slav, a Russian people captured by the Germans. And the first slaves held in the United States were not black, but white. No disrespect. They were Europeans, mostly British, who died like flies on the slave ships across. On one voyage, 1,100 perished out of 1,500. At another time, 350 out of 400. In Virginia, white servitude was for a limited period, but was something extended to life. In the West Indies, particularly in the case of the Irish, it was for life. When I show you white cargo. No disrespect to no one. I'm giving you history. If they only gonna talk about black history after slavery, but they ain't gonna talk about world history, somebody ain't right. Your own people. White people were sold into the United States up to 1826, 50 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Because one of the hidden causes of the Civil War, if you had a tint of black blood in you, you was a Negro. That's what they call mulatto. The book is called The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War by Tinsler. See how much that book costs on Amazon. I have them. Andrew Johnson, President of the United States, was a runaway and was advertised for in the newspaper. Between 1526 and 1859, there were 33 slave revolts in the United States, one of which was headed by Nat Turner of Virginia in 1831. With only 6 companions, Turner set out to free 3 million slaves. The United States Marines and 2 warships were sent against him after he had killed 55 whites and captured several plantations. The Seminoles, or runaways of mixed Indian and Negro descents of Florida, fought 3 wars, which the United States to preserve their freedom. And I don't want to go all on it because it'll take too much time. I done gave enough today. Absolutely they did. Absolutely they used hypnotic rhythm to put it's a lot of things when people talk about they're gonna try to use holograms to scare you and talk about some aliens gonna come. That ain't nothing but it's an agenda. It's old. I start showing y'all old documents, military stuff. When I talk about Spondu Mysteries written by Peter Moon, and I start showing y'all all those politicians on there and what it's all about. When people don't understand, when they went to the Atlantis, when I show you that the European Masons, it's a book called Atlantis of Latter Days, when I speak on historical things that a lot of our people has just not into. Because even the churches, they use hypnotic rhythm and hypnosis to get you caught up in scare tactics, to get you talk about the devil, to get you talking about the devil and some outside of yourself. Let's see if I can show y'all the cover of this book and see do anybody, bam, here it go, and see do anybody know what they looking at, and see can anybody name any of these generals that's on this book. And when they keep things from you. Peter Moon wrote, but he wrote under his pseudonym or his pen name. And look who they have on the cover of there. You see our prophet Noble Drew Ali right in the corner. You see our prophet Noble Drew Ali right in the corner. Noble Drew Ali right in the corner. But do y'all know who all those political people is on there? When people don't understand really what's going on in the world and they try to act like Noble Drew Ali wasn't a powerful man. If Noble Drew Ali wasn't a powerful man, why they got him on here? Why Peter Moon got him on here? And then why we don't read? And I've been able to lecture this all in college campuses. Listen to this, y'all. The end of World War II, it predicted and it brought more intrigue and struggle for power than the war itself. 2 of the most colorful figures in this intrigue were General George S. Patton, I hope y'all know who that is, and Hitler's deputy, Rudolf Hess. Rudolf Hess, General Patton was killed as a result of a dubious accident, the mystery of which has never been solved and has been magnified by government refusal to declassify the file on the investigation of his death. For more conspicuous and powerful was Rudolf Hess, Deputy Führer of Germany, who flew to England in 1941 as an envoy of peace and was imprisoned for life and suspiciously killed just before his imminent release. The current of intrigue and power which permeated these two individuals and led to their downfall was the same current which led to a repatriation of the U.S. government and an undermining of the constitutional government that is run by and for the people. Patton and Hess wore different uniforms, but they both shared common interests designed to link them in the strangest of ways. These include a strong hatred of communists, and more importantly, a strong interest and belief in the occult. What is little known and completely unexpected, however, is that both had within their grasp a force so powerful that if properly harnessed, it might raise the ancient civilization of Atlantis itself. It was for this power they both were killed, and so belongs our mystery. I'm telling you, the book One World Tartarians break all this down. When I show you a lot of stuff is not real, and I got all these books. It's a book called The One World Tartarians, and the European agree with everything I'm saying. And you got General Hess and General Patton on there, and then right next to him is our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And we don't understand what I'm saying today. It's going to be a repeated cycle. So once again, for all my brothers and sisters, that's all, how can I say, emotional. Deal with the facts of the matter. Because yeah, that was totally messed up how the police killed that young lady, Miss Massey, in Chicago. But what is the agenda? How are we going to hold these people, these Democrats, because most of the misnomer black people are Democrats, how are you going to hold them accountable? What law and policy are we going to stand up and fight for and say, this got to end? Because these cops can go from one jurisdiction and get fired for being a drunk and a tyrant and go to another jurisdiction. So where's the law and the policy? And a misnomer black man to get a felony, you can't even work at Walmart. But you can be a felony and be the damn president of the United States of America and be the chief officer. Just like in the city of Flint, Donald Williamson, we had a European mayor, Donald Williamson, and he was a damn criminal and a gangster. And Negroes love that. Oh, because he got money. That's all Negroes care. Y'all ain't getting no money from that. Rest in peace to my man, the one city councilman, Eric Mays. I just know what happened. When Eric Mays, they was all behind him because Donald Wilson told them that he was gonna give them a job and some money. He ain't getting them Negroes nothing. But that's how we are. We emotional because we want somebody to give us something instead of us standing on our own 2 feet, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, getting around a real cause, an educated and an anointed brother like myself and those others, and have an agenda and use our tax dollars and our money that we throw away and get rid of this hypnosis. It's going to be a repeated cycle, and history is going to continue to repeat itself. I ask all my people, because I ain't with Donald Trump, I ain't with none of that. I'm willing to step with my people, and I'm willing to get with my people on the main agenda. But when I ask my Democratic brothers and sisters, what is your agenda? You cannot answer me nothing. When y'all say y'all black, I say, what is the black agenda? It ain't no black agenda. When I say, what is the law and policy? You can't even tell me. So that don't give me no confidence. Just because somebody is melanated and they say, well, we had a first this. But then when Obama was in office, everybody was like, he didn't do nothing. Ain't that crazy? But Obama told you we're a nation of laws. Obama, the only one that talked about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. He said we have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. No one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. And to claim a child replaces the birth certificate. That was Obama. I told y'all, all presidents, they already selected. They already selected through the Electoral College. I'll sit down and show y'all all this stuff. It was already promulgated. It's already done. It's already done. They just play it out in front of your face. They already knew that Biden was going to drop. This is already new. They already knew he was incompetent. They already knew this. So that's all I ask my brothers and sisters. I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm here to have dialogue. that I'm able to do on a college campus. And so I try to bring everything that I have the pleasure to speak with dignitaries and professors. I try to bring this back to an open table. And then I want to take everything that I've learned and all my education back to my neighborhood and back to my community and show us how we can rebuild our community. How? By with our tax dollars. How? With our spirituality. You know? That's how. That's how. You know, and all, not to go to the North Temple there. No, that ain't even it. To go to the Moorish Science Temple of America, number one. No, that's not it. That's why when people just be speaking, I say, but I love everybody. That's all I got to say. But when people be talking, I let it alone, man. I be done speaking. I be done. Because that ain't no answer. The Moorish Science Temple been here forever. The law has been in here forever. So why should we go to a temple that you got people saying they can nationalize you and denationalize you? That's what I'll be saying. We just be talking. Then I ask those people that's talking, what have you done? Do you know who you are? Did you educate yourself? Or are we just talking about, trying to overthrow some government? Are we checking our mental? Are we checking what are we doing? Why do we got a hatred when people say to American this? I say, well, where are you going to go? So I'm not here to argue with my brothers and sisters. I'm not here to do that. But I ask everybody, what's the misnomer black agenda? And what's the misnomer Democrat agenda? And how you going to hold people accountable when they kill you? And how you going to make a statement? And if you ain't voting local, I ask everybody. That's on here, especially people that speak. Did you vote locally? Did you vote for the governor? Did you vote for the police chief? Did you vote for the city councilman? Did you vote for the mayor? If you haven't done none of those things and you still live in the same neighborhood that you grew up in, that tells me something. That tells me we just talking. If I ask a person what's on the ballot of law and policy and you can't tell me nothing, what are we doing? And so when people say go to the Moorish Science Temple of America, with all due respect, Trayvon, what if it ain't no Moorish Science Temple of America in your city? Then what? If it ain't no Moorish Science Temple of America in your city, because I'm from Flint, Michigan. It's a Moorish Science Temple of America on Martin Luther King Street, and it's closed down. It's right across the street from, I think, the old Dewey School. I'll pull it up. Any of my people from Flint, Michigan, pull up the Moorish Science Temple of America and pull it up. It's on Martin Luther King Street. It's been there since we was little kids. Them Negroes ain't doing poo freaking diddly. The Moorish Science Temple of America been there forever. It ain't open. Google it and see, do you got a phone number? Obsolete. See, can you research anything? So when you tell somebody to go to the Moorish Science Temple of America, to do what? And I ask the person, have you done it? What did the temple do for you? If a person I ask a person, what state you live in? Then they start getting mad. I say, have you went to the Moorish Science Temple? What are you doing? Did you vote local, state? Do you know what's going on politically? No. It's on Flint Park and ML King. And the last person that was in there was me. I tried to look it up and see if they own the back taxes. You can't even find no information on it. Because a lot of stuff is historical. But I've been doing my research and I got a realtor. I got the address. She was like, Sheik, Mr. Goodman, this place is going to be available for you real soon. Do you want to put a bid in it? Because it's going to be available for back taxes. And once I put the petition in and put the money up, once I raise all the money or use my own finances, I'm going to put my own money up and with the people that supported me to take it over. And then the law in the city of Flint, you got a certain amount of time to come down there and pay your back taxes. It's a certain amount of time in every different city, state, or local geographic area to pay it. And then after that, it's over. Yep. Prince Hall, I know where all of it's at. And it ain't no disrespect. I know a brother right now, I wish he jumped on my page. I'm going to show y'all, he a preacher in the city of Flint, Michigan. He a Prince Hall Mason. You can go on his page right now. He'll never say nothing. But I bet you he won't come around me and say nothing because I got their charter. I'm 99 degrees of ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim, and them Negroes took an oath. You can't be no preacher and take no oath because a God man don't take no oath. That means you got a potentate over you. You in there preaching asinine stuff, and you don't believe none of the shit you talking about. Those preachers and so-called misnomer black Masons won't tell you the first house that they study is Christianity, and then the last house they study is Islam, and the secret password is Assalamu Alaikum. They won't even tell you that. When I tell y'all, The joke of masonry is not no European. Why? Because all my European Scottish Rite Masons would tell you that they a son of a Muslim. A misnomer Negro would tell you that he's some stupid ass widow's son. No disrespect. And he won't even wear his fez in a regular setting. His tassel is pinned down. And on his fez look totally different. Oh, I got my fez put up. His fez got pentagrams on it and circles. Ask the Freemason why they fez and they tassel is pinned down. Ask them that. Ask our misnomer black girls that's Eastern Stars, are they under the European, which is the DAR, the Daughters of American Revolution, and they the ones came up when they won't tell you that the marriage license is a contract. Ask them that. They the only ones lying to you. They won't come to me because they know I got their charter. I told y'all, I'm transparent. I'm 99 degrees ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim, and I'm part of Philosophical Research Society. I'll be waiting for one of them liars to come on here and say something. And them Greek fraternity Negroes. I got friends that's Greeks. They done took an oath to not tell you the truth. The Greek is a fraud. So I don't have no disrespect for my brothers and sisters. I have no disrespect. I have none. I have no disrespect for my brothers and sisters. But when people just be spewing off at the mouth, saying stuff, I'm like, so what are you doing in your community? What are you in a political fight? Do you know what's going on? Because Moors, I can start pulling up documents and show y'all all these mayors, it's certain jurisdictions and certain states in the mayor's office, they got the proclamation and declaration saying that we was Moors, and they signed it in 2012. All my members have it. I don't have I'll pull it up next week because I got one of my phones up. They have this information. They have it. It's been there forever, collecting dust. That's why I'm telling y'all we lost. I don't have no reason to hide. I'm out in the forefront. You can't get no Freemason, black Freemason, to sit down and have a conversation with me because they're gonna be afraid and they're gonna know everything they saying is a lie. And when I pull out that charter, you're gonna look at them lying Negroes like wow. You're going to look at they lying Negroes like, wow. I'm in the forefront. I'm a real potentate. And when I say potentate, I mean, if all words are synonymous, I'm a craftsman. I told y'all, I'm initiated. I ain't took no oath. I'm initiated through the wisdom and through the understanding. That's why I had to create my own. If I want to be some Negro Freemason or a boule, they don't want no rapper or no regular person. They want educated men, which they call the talented 10th. Wow, because they know we educated. I'm telling y'all, my Uncle Michael Finney, he just passed. A lot of people don't like to talk about that. My Uncle Michael Finney was the boule. How I know? Because he had to reveal himself to me. I don't care how my family be feeling. I'm just telling y'all the truth. And my uncle died mysteriously. My uncle worked for the mayor. And when I became initiated, I set their light out, and they know who I am. Because when they go certain places, when they go on their trips, I'll be there as a recorder. And I done told y'all I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. But most of our people, they try to say, oh, he's some master Freemason, or Korea's a Scottish Rite Mason, or he's some Prince Hall Masonry. Well, prove it. Instead of making accusations, prove it. Because if I'm that, all you got to do is go get my charter. But you can't. When I show you I'm part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I show y'all my ordination, I show y'all my adapt degrees, and then I show y'all my degrees from academia, getting a bachelor degree and a master degree, and then I show y'all my adapt wisdom in this Moorish science, and then people will get on here and say, go to the Moorish Science Temple of America. What if it ain't one in your city? What if the Moorish Science Temple is closed down? What if the Negroes in there acting like they can nationalize you or denationalize you, and that'll change you from the descendant nature of your foremothers and forefathers, because most average Negroes want something from the government. They paper terrorists. These Negroes think they can file some piece of paper and you're going to get something. These Negroes think they some sovereign citizen and they got some special law and you're going to get your head bust wide open. Listen to retarded ass Negroes. And I ain't calling nobody retarded. I'm saying them Negroes that come with that sovereign citizen retarded shit. Excuse my candor. And the ones that y'all watch these videos and talk and think that you some sovereign citizen and it's an oxymoron, and some Negro that's a felon, talk about he's some Moroccan general or some confident general of Morocco in the United States with a felony. Or those Moors, those riders of the Moors that got all arrested on the highway. And these grown people still playing these games? Man, I don't got time to be playing no games with nobody life. But that's what we do as misnomer black people. We get on here and we start rambling off at the mouth. And a lot of these people know me. And I don't mean no disrespect to the brother that said that, Trayvon. That brother was a part of my society. That's why I be saying I'm gonna start stop hiding, or not hiding, but saving people from what I'm saying. These people be knowing who I am. Why? Because they were part of my society. They were part of my groups. Ask them why they ain't part of my groups now. They just be rambling off at the mouth. They just be rambling off at the mouth. And then I don't mean no disrespect to nobody. We get on the internet and try to get tough. And I start running off at the mouth. What qualities a man have to have a charter for a legitimate organization? Just following the laws like the no. I broke down a state booklet, and the state booklet is the affidavit of how he signed the 1099. If anybody that's some more, you got to do things the right way. And that's why I challenge people, but I'm not going to continue to do it over and over because I've done it. I've done shared it, and people that's part of my organizations, I give it to them. I give it to them. I show them how the Moorish Science Temple of America is tax exempt for the federal government. Religious, charitable, scientific, educational-wise, and donation-wise. And we have a tax exempt ID where we don't pay taxes on local purchases. And it's chartered a certain way, just like any other organization, just like any other fraternal house. But we talk about all that 501c3 or 501c3 all the way to 10 to some white man stuff, and I leave it alone with black people. I say, okay, I understand law. You need some help? Yeah. You need some help? I'm finna finish. My empress just came back. But that's what I'm telling people, man. I teach this. You got to do the same thing that every other person did and abide under the laws that govern the world. Why you think the Ku Klux Klan, when they want to petition and when they want to go to a city and they can say all they hateful and racist stuff and they can have their guns and all that and people get mad? All we got to do is organize like we did. The European Ku Klux Klan is under the Quran, but they just put an L in it. It's called the Quran. That's what I'm telling people. But we steady have people just doing it for $1. And I'm saying we the people, we can do things. You know? Yeah, yep, you missed it, Noble. You can go back and check it out. But I'm going to come back each week. I'm going to come back and give it, Brother Bash. Much love to you for tuning in. All you got to do is go back in and check it out. I just went over the first tactic of fear. And I asked my people that's in politics and all that, what's the agenda? Who we going to hold accountable? What's the misnomer black agenda? What's the misnomer Democrat agenda? What's the law and policy? How are we going to hold these police and all these people accountable? And then when I ask people about the Heritage Foundation, that's where I'm at with it. So I love y'all, man. And once again, when we just be talking, let's stop just listening to people that just be run off at the mouth and then go to their cities and see what they doing. Them Negroes sitting on the couch. They don't have they ain't put no money behind nothing. They don't put no money behind nothing. And a lot of these people know me. And a lot of these people have been a part of my societies. And I don't mean no disrespect to no one. Some of my muftis are on my page. Let me see. My mufti Brian is on here. My mufti Brian is on here. Some of my other muftis are on my YouTube page. Barclay and Drayshawn, they're on here. So when brothers be speaking, just run off at the mouth. Come on, man. My noble said, help my queen, we'll wait. I gotta go, man. I've been going for hours, man. And I'll come back to y'all probably later tonight. What time is it? It's 6 o'clock. I'll do part 2 tonight. If anybody want a late night lecture, I'll jump back on here tonight at 9 p.m. AZ time zone. And if anything y'all want to ask, I got it. I got all the books. Is the Carl West Trust Handbook sufficient into related operating? Nobles, I show y'all what I got all these things. So I taught this. It's only one way to do things, and that's the right way. And so we can have dialogue, but it'll take me too long when people just want me to answer things. And I say, come to class, learn, support something. Just don't ask a whole bunch of questions. Be a student and put your money where your mouth is And I can go over everything. I can pull out all the documents. You can ask me things. I can put things in your hand for donation, for you can read with your eye, for you can see. So you can be like, oh, so you can know for a fact instead of just assuming, instead of just believing me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to know what's right and be like, hey, I ain't operating on how you feel. You know, I share my information every week when I'm on here. Every week I give my email and I give my phone number every week. And then my mufti share it. And then when we have Sunday school every Sunday on our YouTube channel, and then we have a dab class every Saturday, you see all the information that go down, and I share my information. And if somebody email me, I'll give the information to one of my muftis, and they get with you. I tell people if they really want to sit in class with us on StreamYard, to hit up our temple and school at the bbtsciencetemple.com. That's what I tell people. I tell people to hit me up at the bbtsciencetemple.com. So once again, oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me put this down. So once again, I'm sorry, Thurman. I'll write your email down, Thurman. THURMONT. But I'll get the rest. You hear me? I'll get your luggage. I'll get the luggage and the water. So as I close, I'm going to give my email information one more time. My email information. Yeah, no, but I'll be peeping you. I follow everybody. And peace and respect to your father's soul and all that, Thurman. I respect everything. You know, I was waiting to say something to you about that because I know how dear you hold your father, because I hold my father same as dear. My father is my best friend. My father is my number one supporter. When I was stupid, dumb, and blind in the city of Flint, trying to follow behind dumb stuff with that old West Pass stuff, all that dumb stuff, my dad never gave up on me. My dad and my mom never gave up on me. So I definitely understand that, man. I give you all honor to honor your father. But we supposed to live for that generation. So I'm here to bring brothers together. I saw you just got your truck. I saw all the things you was going through. But that's going to build you up. That's going to be a testimony for everybody else. That's who we are. We tested. We tested. We built for this. We from the city of Flint, Michigan. We the rock. That's like a spark. Flint is a spark, and I'm a spark. And if everybody jump on this spark, we can catch on, and we can have a damn forest fire. We can take this over. You can see brothers and sisters with their bonnets and their kufis on and their fezes not operating as Negroes. We can come and have a position politically and have dialogue. So once again, my email. He said, I ain't gonna lie, OG, you be saying your number fast as hell. I know. I got that gullah in me, Noble. I got that gullah in me. But I say it once again. My email is goodmancurry@gmail.com. That's GOODMANKHARY@gmail.com. Once again, my email is goodmancurry@gmail.com. GOODMANKHARY@gmail.com. One more time, goodmancurry@gmail.com. GOODMANKHARY@gmail.com. My phone number, because I don't have nothing to hide from no one, because I know how to block people. Very simple, especially if they're not respectable. Don't make me no difference. I don't have nothing to hide. My phone number that you can contact me. God, you about to email you. Gratitude. My phone number is 602-473-8767. But if y'all in Michigan, remember, it's a 3-hour time difference. It's a 3-hour time difference. It's a little earlier here. It's a little later in other places. So my cell phone contact, which I answer all the time, is 602-473-8767. Once again, 602-473-8767. Thank y'all, man, and gratitude for y'all time. But we got to get out just spilling off at the mouth, man. And there's people on my page that just be asking me questions. No disrespect. like Trayvon, no disrespect. I'm keeping all respectful. That's been part of my society. And they get on here and start asking a whole bunch of questions. And this brother been part of my society, then met me personally. But then when a person don't do something they like, all the stuff that they done for you, it goes out the window. That's nigga stuff. That's nigga stuff. Excuse my candor. And then get on here and start asking a whole bunch of crazy questions. No disrespect, but I'm transparent. I don't have time for us to be disrespectful and act like they don't know what it is. And these people been part of me, done sat with me, done ate with me. I done fed these people. That's what I be saying. So I love y'all, man, and peace. Yeah. Oh, you're asking stupid shit. I mean, just retarded shit.